Hello and welcome to the Beat Brings Us Together podcast, presented by myself, Luke Hassan. It's a show where I invite talented musical individuals to discuss their story as we dig deeper into their musical journey. We'll discover where it all began for them, where they are now, and where they look for the future. This week on the podcast, I was joined by AR38, and they talked DJing, coming together as a duo on their productions, DJ dads, the struggle to pick a name, and keeping mentally healthy. It was a pleasure to have the duo in the studio, as I've been trying to get them for a while now. So enjoy. Hello, welcome to the podcast, and I'm here with AR38 ahead of their gig tonight. Do you want to say hello, gents?
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Right.
Hello. Welcome. Thanks for coming down. It's we've got a sort of local Lichfield man.
Yep.
And a lovely Derby lad here as well. So tell us a bit about yourselves. Like, we had a little chat earlier, but where's AR38 come from? Where's this name develop?
Well, as I was saying, we were struggling to come up with the name. We were finding it easier to make the music than the actual name. And we were throwing all sorts of different ideas around, looking at Greek words, looking at Latin words. Nothing was sticking. Everything was sounding just ridiculous.
Horrific is probably the word.
Yeah, and then, we're sending constant texts to each other about different names, like, oh yeah, put that in the maybe pile. And we both...
We're looking at cool words and then trying to figure out their meaning in Latin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't really working for us, to be honest.
So we thought, let's just go simple. He's Ash, I'm Rob, AR, and then obviously the A38 Lichfield Birds, and that's what separates it. So it sounds cheesy, but you thought, you know what, we've got to come up with some sort of name, because it's just we're putting out tunes.
That was
with
at
nothing.
one point, like, we were just in the process of setting up our socials and stuff, and I was like, right, we need a name for this.
Yeah, we need to come up with something,
because we've got the few tracks in the backlog, and we were like, right, I can't start promoting anything. I can't start pushing anything until we've got a name. We can't do a set on a flyer until we've got a name. Like, at first, it was just like Ashley Fern and Rob Day for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it took about 3 months to think
It was
of a
ridiculous.
name, didn't
It was ridiculous. Yeah. But we thought, we've got that. We'll just commit to it. It's just a name. That sounds okay.
I think it's come out quite cool though.
It's
got me asking. I just really wanted to know.
Yeah,
At least it's got a bit of a story to it,
Short
in
and
some
snappy.
really weird kind of way.
Yeah, it's nice.
And it kind of works, so we went with that. And the logo that got done made it look a little bit better, and so it's all good from there, really.
Just went for something really simple for the logo as well, because you find some people that are trying to overdo it, and it's just like, there's no need.
No,
nice.
You
Simple.
need to be clear so you can actually read who your name is.
Exactly.
And I think the clearer it is, the more likely it's going to be used on a poster, because I guess it's not often... They don't always use your logos.
I was going to say, like, logos are more for when you're a lot bigger, I think. Now. Like your own parties or something. Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
I prefer the artwork to be how it is. I've always done it, to match the artwork. Some logos just get stomped on top of it with another logo that looks nothing like it. And then it just, like, the flyer looks a bit dodgy. But
so it goes with the concept of the night.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right, well, we'll dive in to the first question ask any guest on the podcast, and it's, what's your first memory of music? Just straight up music. The first thing you can remember, maybe it was a gig, maybe it was an experience, or anything your parents playing.
Wow. I think mine must have been like 6 or 7, and this is the first memory that comes to mind, and it was the first CD I ever had. I didn't even have a CD player at the time. I had to wait for that. So my mum entered this competition for me to win this CD, and it was a PJ and Duncan CD.
No way.
Yeah.
That is wicked.
And it wasn't even like that big hit. It was like, I think it was like Radio Rock or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So I had to wait a good couple of months then to get like a CD stack for Christmas and whatnot, and then I could play it out. And then my mum also bought me the album.
PJ Duncan's album.
They had an album.
I never knew you was a closet PJ Duncan fan.
But that was on cassette. So I had like this small little kind of boom box.
Yeah.
And I used to play that all the time. And that was like my first memory really of music.
Incredible.
Obviously my style and direction has changed since then.
I don't really know what mine would be, and I've been racking my brains for this for a while, because I've always been brought up around music, because my dad's a DJ as well.
Oh, cool.
So he's got like loads of the house sound of Chicago records and stuff like that, and used to play them a lot, but he also used to blast out loads of Rolling Stones or Michael Jackson and stuff like that, so I've had a lot of that upbringing.
Right, okay.
So yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff, mainly the 80s and early 90s stuff, is what I first remember, really.
Yeah.
My first like cassette, I think, was like The Offspring, Pretty Fly for a White Guy or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And I
choice,
think my first CD was actually Michael Jackson History. So I think I'm pretty sure that was the
Earth
one.
Song.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like his greatest hits, but it was out in like '94 or something.
Oh, was it?
So it had a bit of everything on it. But yeah, I think they're the first two I really distinctively remember getting. I definitely remember my Offspring tape. So I used to rinse that a lot.
Oh, is it the one like blue, the orange?
Yeah.
Offspring logo on.
In fact, I think it was purple.
Purple.
It might have actually been Why Don't You Get a Job and not Pretty Fly for a White Guy. I can't remember.
It's pretty cool when they came back with
those
sort of tunes. So random and so very different to like early grungy stuff. But anyway, is there anything you can sort of? I mean, your link's kind of there already to the electronic stuff. I mean, if you're hearing that when you're younger, I guess you go through a few phases. What sort of brought you to the first sort of like, I guess, club heavy music, club ready music?
For me, it was quite a young age. I think I was about 8 years old, 8 or 9 maybe. And it was Robert Miles' Children.
Oh,
when that first came out, yeah. And I think it was on a Now 34 compilation or something like that. And it was the last track on the CD. And I found the repeat button on my CD stacker thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's going to repeat for a lot. And I just absolutely loved it. Just fell in love with that song. And then obviously at the age of 8 or 9, I was kind of like restricted because obviously back then, you couldn't just jump on the internet. And So I was kind of
point out that Rob's a bit older than me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you can't say that.
That makes it sound like I'm like 60 years old or something. But so I sort of anytime there was dance music on the radio or whatnot, I was like, yeah, okay, and just had my head nodding. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm liking this. And then a little bit after that, the Euphoria compilations, because I was massively into trance back in the day.
So was I. I think maybe a similar age.
Yeah, maybe.
maybe we're both 25.
Oh, you're 25?
No, I was playing on ages down.
yeah, do that. Yeah. No, so yeah, the Euphoria compilation, the green one, I've rinsed that. Absolutely loved that. And then like the Trance Nation CDs as well, like Mixed by Faux Chorus and Tiesto's, like the big hits back in the day. And I was just like, my God, this is the best thing ever. And I just fell in love with trance.
Hands in the air music, right?
Yeah, proper.
Would you say like it's, well, I don't know, for me it's always great when you're in a club and I kind of always waiting for that hands in the air moment. Those like you probably get you get it in the 80s, 90s sort of big synth breaks. I'm always feeling I want that moment of hands in the air.
Yeah.
I don't know. As a DJ, maybe do you feel
you can't beat that?
way?
I mean, my sort of upbringing is not too dissimilar to yours. My dad, like I say, used to be a DJ. Well, still is a DJ. So I would listen to what he would start playing, and he was really into like Shapeshifters and stuff when they were doing their stuff, and like Super Mode Tell Me Why was one that I'd always distinctively remember him playing a lot.
Nice.
Because he used to get his CDs ready by recording it off Sky, and I used to press play for him as he would press play on his CD rewriter from his stereo system, and that's how we'd get the CDs built. So I used to help him with that. So like I'd listen to that kind of stuff from all the chart TV and all the dance programs and stuff on the Sky. But then I like Rob kind of went into trance. I used to go Ibiza as a kid, and then through that just seeing what was happening around me. Going trance was massive then. So like all like the All Gone Pete Tong soundtrack and Kevin and Perry soundtrack were like massive, as everyone can probably say. So a lot of that stuff, and then I moved into sort of hardcore at school. So I was massively into hardcore, like to the extent where I nearly got a HTID till I die tattoo.
No way. Have you?
No. I don't got any tattoos, thank God. But I was massively into that, and it's still like you said a minute ago with the euphoric breakdowns and the pianos and stuff like that, and that feeling that gives you, like the natural high that them sort of sounds give you.
And
the vocals that are in it, and obviously with that I moved away from that a little bit, but like drum and bass, dubstep, bass line, EDM before it was called EDM, prog house, going to CTS there in Ibiza playing 8 hours and stuff like that, and then Swedish House Mafia and stuff. So that's kind of like where I kind of get my inspirations from and what I've listened to over the years.
So it's all very much like probably like most people, but especially for people who produce and DJ, it's a very visceral feeling. It's something you really feel, maybe rather than even think. It's not. I think
everyone like, if you're into one kind of dance music, it's not hard to like another. They're all, majority of them are like a 4/4 beat. So you can kind of appreciate all the different sounds that go into them, and they're all stolen from different bits anyway.
Yeah,
you know?
it's all sampled.
Got a bit of this in this
sampled.
one. Yeah.
808 and a 909.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good on every single track.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So, what was it? The environment, or was it a particular moment that sort of made you think, you know what, I want to do this. I want to be the one controlling the music, controlling the crowd.
I think for me, it was literally a light bulb moment. Back in 2003, so I was probably like 15 then, and my brother said, "Oh, you know, this is when I was like, Tiesto was my absolute hero back in the day. We won't speak about Tiesto and what he does now, but back in the day, it was my absolute hero. You know, like him, Armin, Ferry, PVD, you know, the big hitters." And my brother went, "Oh, God, come look at this, come look at this." So I went into his room and he had like his fancy Mac and that, and he had a DVD in the the DVD player, and he says, "Oh, watch this," and it was Tiesto in concert, the first Tiesto in concert.
From that long ago?
Yeah, 2003. So,
Wow.
and it was the first time he ever played, allegedly, the first time he ever played Adagio for strings, his version. And, you know, we could debate which one's better, his or Ferry's.
Barbers
But,
as well.
yeah. Well, yeah, but Ferry's remix of it was Barbers Adagio for strings there, but Tiesto decided just to take it all for himself. But anyway, and he played that for...
Some shots fired in the background.
But yeah, so he played that version allegedly for the first time ever. And just literally every hair on my body stood up. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is like the best. This is like the best tune ever. And that whole DVD, in fact, is just absolutely incredible. But when I just first saw that, I was just like, okay, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I was heading for the RAF. That was like my direction. I was like, oh, I want to go into the RAF. And then at that moment, I was like, yeah, that's not good. No. I'm not going down that route anymore. I'm going down the music route. So yeah, that was kind of like the light bulb moment for me, really.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did you go to the RAF ever?
No, I was in the Air Cadets. That was about as close as I got.
So that was
7
was
years. Yeah, but
okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Before that, I was like my brother. He bought some turntables, and I was about 13. So I started learning when I was 13 on vinyl.
Yeah.
Like hard trance, the Tidy 2 stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, we had some trance records as well. And but yeah, from that moment on, I was like, okay, I want to buy a pair of turntables. I want to do this. I want to do that. So yeah.
Oh man, how about yourself?
I never really had a light bulb moment like Rob did, where it was just there, but it kind of grew over time, and I dabbled here and there. I think first time I had a crack with stuff was obviously with my dad. He had vinyl, and then he also had like the CD stacks with the little mixer that's all in one, Cytronic one. So I dabbled with that, and I used to like have a go when we'd do like New Year's parties and stuff. And then virtual DJ came along, and I just used to make these squeaky DJ Cami style tracks and stuff through that by just speeding stuff up and adding absolute shit to it. And then
Creativity, that is.
Yeah, well, it was there. If I wish I'd have started from then, but I ended up, my mate Aiden bought some turntables as well years ago when I was at school mixing hardcore.
Yeah.
And then I kind of stopped for a while, and I was just going out and turned 18, just went to Gatecrasher like every weekend. And then about, I think I was 21, one of my mates decided, we was hanging around with some guys, shout out to Ben, Kane, Tommy, Josh, all these guys.
Yeah.
They were all DJs and stuff, and in the music scene, and Joe Bird as well. They kind of got me involved with their group. Originally, I started off being like, I think I was an article writer for a magazine that my mate Josh was doing. And then through that, Benji and Lucas and all them guys, Kane and that, just taught me to DJ. And me and my mate Dan started, where he bought some decks, and then we just mixed in my garage for constantly. And then that was it, really. I was like, yeah, why have I not done this sooner? Like, and then producing music as well around that same sort of time. So about 6 years ago, I think, for me.
Oh, wow, brilliant. It's kind of been a sort of a reoccurring theme throughout the guests we've had. It seems like it's a very much a sort of parents and the environment that have been surrounded in. It's sort of led them, that's brought them to this. It's not, I haven't interviewed anywhere it's been, they haven't had any involvement with electronic music at all. There's always been something in their life that has brought them to that. So it's pretty cool. It's a very nature. It's a very nature thing. Yeah. Part of that brings people to DJing. Well, let's fast forward a bit and see you've come together as AR38. Where was your first set that you played together? Or I think you mentioned earlier you'd already been playing together before that.
I think first set, was it the Bunker one or was it the Roller Blaster one?
Wow, the AR38 thing was Bunker.
Yeah, we did. We
did
each
the
year
Bunker.
when we launched the Bunker for the first time, 'cause
Yeah.
it's an outdoor venue. We launch it with a back-to-back special full of all the local talent and like bring them all together who they want to play with. We're all quite close in Derby, and I think that was our first set together. But we did play in Prague about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
once,
that's when we
We
first
have to-
met.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's how we
Yeah,
met
yeah.
actually.
Stansted Airport.
Yeah, we met for the first time at Stansted Airport on the way to a gig in Prague that we were both playing at.
Yeah,
Very cool. Where were you
was-
playing?
crikey.
One of your mates from school, and whose friends are friends with one of the mates of mine at the time, Mikey Dunn.
Yep.
So Fernie was the guy you know.
Yeah.
He's a strange character. And if he hears this, he'll appreciate me saying that.
Yeah.
He decided to emigrate to Czech Republic, didn't he? Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And then,
He was there for about 8-9 years, I think.
somehow I was like, I don't know how it happened. He had this gig in a big warehouse, but it was like a tower block warehouse because it's
Yeah,
weird the way
it
the
was-
warehouse. You have warehouses on like fourth and fifth floors over there. It's weird.
Right. That's helpful for
and like,
deliveries.
yeah, it was weird. And then he did a rave in a warehouse. didn't
Yeah, yeah. It was one of the most surreal events I've ever done.
Yeah.
Because he did the whole kind of like, it was promoted via socials, etc.
Yeah.
And then he'd speak to me every like week or so, be like, oh, it's gonna be really really busy. He did the whole promoter spiel. And I'm like, yeah, okay, And we were just going like, I've been to Prague a few times now to see him.
I just started DJing at this point. Like, So I was just like, oh my God, I'm playing in Prague. This is sick.
Yeah,
That is.
And then we went for about 5 days, and I mean it was a crazy 5 days. But this event probably topped it all because the amount of people that turned up was absolutely insane.
Unreal.
It was
You
crazy.
had like 2 rooms. You had low ceilings, so you could near enough
Yes.
touch the ceiling in this warehouse. Behind the main room DJ booth, there was this graffitied Darth Vader. It looked so cool, didn't it?
yeah, it was such a
And
cool
it
venue.
was so surreal though, because we went backstage, weren't there? And there was all sorts of weird stuff happening around there.
Yeah.
A bit
But, like,
too much for us.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people turned up to the point where they're downstairs. They were being relatively civil, but because there was security, obviously, just bypassed his mind when he was going to this event. Like police turned up and everything. It was like, okay, this is like a bit of a health and safety concern because there were so many people trying to get in, and the venue was like at capacity within like the first half an hour of it opening. It was absolutely insane.
And also, there is no licensing laws in Prague for that kind of thing. So if you've got the space, you can just put on whatever you want. The police can't shut you down. And that was what he was saying to us the whole time. It's like, it's all right, we can't be shut down. Like, there's people queuing out the door downstairs and causing shit in the street, but they can't shut us down. And they didn't. They
Incredible.
didn't.
Incredible.
It was mental. It was the weirdest thing ever. And I
It
was
was
like,
crazy.
oh,
It
shit.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a mad few days in
Good
Prague,
night.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
when
it was
that's
good.
the first time we
Good.
met, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, what a great story, man.
Yeah,
You too.
yeah.
So what?
I can't remember what
Was
we was
it
on
how-
about before then.
What?
Oh yeah,
what
when was
brought
our
you
first
together?
gig? It was our first gig, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
About, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the Bunker one. I think we just both got to a stage sing when we was like working on our own. I think you given it a go for many years before I'd even
Oh
started.
yeah.
I was it's kind of like struggling to find my own sound and sort of still with the production stuff, not quite grasping certain
okay.
parts and that. And I think that we were both like at that point where we just kind of came. He started working at my work, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then we just started chatting and was like, why don't we just start making music together? I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, why
have we not done that for 5 years?
Yeah.
Because we've always like been around each other and stuff. It just it was weird. It was So that's pretty much it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I've been at it for years now. Sort of started DJing out when I was 18 in Burton at the Lounge, and they were playing hard trance there. It was Baby Slinkies, they called it.
Baby
Do you
Slinkies?
remember Slinkies? But yeah. So I was DJing out hard house, hard trance and vinyl.
Yes.
And then the house thing happened, the electro house thing happened, and I was like, okay, I really like that kind of music as well when it came out. And I was like, these are going to be the easier gigs to get because it's like bar music, If you want to play a trance set, you need to be at somewhere like, back in the day it was like Air or Gatecrasher or whatnot.
As we mentioned a few times on this.
Yeah. But
He
yeah,
also was a resident for Gatecrasher.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So
He doesn't talk about it.
per chance,
That's flipping cool.
Yeah, per chance. I live in Lichfield, and I don't even know Lichfield. There's a little village called Whittington nearby, and there my girlfriend at the time said, "Oh yeah, there's a guy that lives around the corner from me, a guy called Lewis. His uncle owns Gatecrasher." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, fair enough, whatever."
One of those.
So anyway, I went round for his with like a vinyl bag. You know how heavy they were back in the day, Jesus. And we had a mix, and he was showing me all these photos and stuff like with him, with Paul Van Dyke and things like that. And I was like, "Yeah, my uncle owns Gatecrasher." And I was like, Sarah's telling the truth. It's like his uncle does own Gatecrasher, and it turns out his uncle did own Gatecrasher. So over the years I went up with him, and then we just started like DJing warm-up sets at Gatecrasher Nottingham in the main room.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it was kind of like it was like a accessible kind of like head candy funky house.
Yeah.
And as we were saying earlier, it's not hard to like another genre of music. You don't have to just be techno or trance. So I just actually really enjoyed it, just playing like a couple of hours of like inoffensive house music. It was just great. I really enjoyed it. So yeah.
That's a great early experience.
Yeah, it was, and I was there. I was there for a couple of years, and then obviously the progressive house thing came. I started doing that a bit, and then the deep house thing came with like the MK sound and the Disclosure, and I just like it was really strange for me because progressive house is very similar to trance. And then I think I was at Gatecrasher, and I think like I'm not going to say their names because they are great DJs and they're great producers, and they were quite big at the time. I don't know what they're doing now, but they were playing, and I was with my brother, and I was just turned around to my brother, and I was like, "This sound to me now is just dead." It's like this. I just don't find any enjoyment with this sound anymore. I was like, I just need to go away. I just need to kind of like just think about what music I actually like. And then I think from that really, I started going down that more sort of tech house route. Started getting into like the more melodic sort of stuff as well. And but I think as Ash was saying, like he was struggling with production not because of like his ideas and his sounds, but just the technical side of things.
It's just I'm not musically trained, but I could make a track from start to finish and it sound acceptable. It's just that sprinkle of dust on the end of it, the mix down in the mastering, EQing to a certain extent, writing bass lines in key and stuff like that, and making sure it's all in key. And when you're putting synths on top of it as well, it's something that I had no one to put my arm around me and say this is how it's done. I nearly went to Confetti in Nottingham, but I was too old at the time to enrol on the course they wanted me to go on, and they had to pay a load of money and I couldn't have done it. I don't know. Rob also used to teach at Burton College as well.
So that's where I got my music tech skills, and I taught that as well. But the interesting thing with me music tech was that I just liked so many genres, and I kind of had the skills to do it. But then putting them in practice and then putting the sounds together, I just really struggled with. And
we diagnosed that you were your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty like, I know what I want and I know what I want it to sound like, and this is how we'll do it. And he would be like 2 hours later still working on a kit.
And
then like going back to that, man, it doesn't quite sound right. And so I'm there for him in that sense where I can go like, let's get this done.
Yeah.
And he's there for me in the sense of like, we can get this to the next level now. It works. Like, I can build up ideas. He's got ideas, and then we can finish them off and can hopefully push them together.
Yeah, I mean, we've only been. It's interesting. We've only been producing for 7 months together.
I think it's 7 months. We've got about 26 tracks.
Yeah.
So were you producing together? Were you sending each of the tracks before this and helping each other out?
I don't remember you really doing a lot since. I think you kind of did. You stop for a bit?
Well, it was a bit of a weird one because for a couple of years I was in a bit of a rut with the whole music thing. I was thinking about, and I wasn't. I went for about 3 years not even DJing.
It's a hard industry, man, isn't it? It gets
and I was just like, is my heart in it? Because I didn't want to go back into the scene. And I'm not saying this is a wrong way of doing it, but I didn't want to go back into the scene because I'd already done the whole kind of like, not kissing arse as such, but going to gigs all the time, going to gigs, and then playing for free. And I thought to myself, I've already done that. I don't want to go back into the whole thing doing that again. If I want to get booked, I want to get booked on the merit of me being a DJ and a producer. So when it came to like sending like any of my tunes out, I wanted, as I said, I'm my own worst enemy. I wanted everything to be like absolutely bang on perfect before I sent anything out. But it's been quite interesting because I think me and Ash bounce off each other quite well. Like Ash has some really good sounds and some really good ideas. Then he sends them my way, almost like a second pair of ears. And then I think, I can definitely see what Ash is trying to do here.
I always say that Rob sprinkles the fairy dust on it.
Yeah, the ear candy.
It's like I do the first fix and he does the, finishing the sort of making it sound right on a system, which is something I always could never do. The kick wouldn't sound right. I'd make tracks, I'd play them out and I'd be like, it doesn't sound right. Why can't I get the bass line to rumble better? Why can't I get the kick to sound right? Why is not everything complementing? And that was basically the solution. And, you know, he's taught me quite a lot since we've started as well, which has been great. But yeah, it's just clicked. Like I say, we sat down for the first time and made an absolute banger, didn't we? Like the first track we ever made was just one of the ones that we just are absolutely obsessed with.
Yeah,
what's the name of it?
It's called Stop. I think
Stop.
I think you've heard it.
Yeah,
I think you've seen it. Yeah.
It was really that was crazy. It was just our first track. It was like,
we're on to something now, aren't we?
Yeah.
It took us like 6 hours, if that. It was one night
just
after work at my house. I was like, oh, well, that'll do.
That's a very good sign.
Yeah.
Well, I think like creatively speaking, for myself, I used to work very similar to yourself, and I'd be concentrating on, I need the kick to sound good, and then I just completely lose the creativity. And I find I need to get like a very fluid, very fast process with not really caring too much about the sounds you're using. You know, be in the ballpark.
Yeah.
But then, you know, come to the mix and master later. So it kind of like you two fit very well together.
Yeah.
And you hear it in the music.
Give each other that little bit of discipline in certain areas,
Yes.
which kind of helps, because stuff that I can't do, he can do. Stuff that he can't do, I can do. And, you know, it kind of works from there.
That's a duo.
Yeah.
That's a top duo.
But that's it. Like my motivation was sort of suffering a little bit before we started producing, and then my motivation
Mine was as well.
Like,
I think that's why, like, you know, we kind of reached out to each other without realising.
Yeah.
Both kind of in a rut a little bit and struggling to get to that next step. And yeah, so
slowly come together.
Super.
My mixing and mastering is getting better as well. So, you know, happy days.
Yeah.
I'm still the social media person.
Yeah.
Social media person.
Social media.
Marketing manager, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Down on your LinkedIn as, isn't it?
You're getting better at it, aren't you?
Yeah, we're learning from each other.
I do all the social media stuff. I've done it all for Bunker and all that stuff over the years, and my own pages and stuff. So, and trying to get the gigs and stuff is something that I really kind of push as well. So yeah, we've got, both of us have got, as we come together, we've got the strengths that we kind of thrive together better than we would on our own, to be fair.
Amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Let's take a little break here.
Yeah,
have a
can
quick
do.
drink,
Yeah,
and
can
we'll
do.
come back to it.
Yeah,
Sweet.
sweet.
Thank you, AR38. Catch us in part 2.